don't want to give it to you. Go ahead. I think, Father, you're right there. Your name tag is right.
Good. I just switch them.
What's that?
This will be the first segment of this recording will be Orthodox. Yeah. I think it's Orthodox Christian practices in Des Moines. Then I'll also check out the ones that are titled The Current Ones Have Taken Everybody With Them, and People in New Jerusalem, the Mormon Trail. I'll be hitting those. I'll stay in here for a little bit, and then I'll go upstairs and hit the other ones. Just like I did when I was at the First Christian Church a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, when there was sessions sponsored by our Citizens for Community Improvement and other organizations about the status of our democracy and politics. And putting people first, that and that. So all those videos are up on my YouTube channel.
Hello, everybody. Apologies for starting late. We're going to run right to it. That'll show them. So I was not remembering what I submitted in the way of descriptions of the panel. I found myself reading my description for the last one, Refugee Religion. I'll do the same thing now for the one on Orthodox Christianity. Although it is arguably the oldest branch of Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, next to those traditions, remain relatively unknown to the American public. Americans think there are two basic forms of Christianity, Protestants and Catholics. Once there are three forms, Protestant, Catholics, and evangelicals. This panel will showcase 4 of the Orthodox Christian communities in Des Moines. And we have at least 5, but I got no response from the cop. And the phone numbers aren't working either. Are they okay?
No. They share a creek with the Nebraska border, so he doesn't know it.
Okay. You will hear about Orthodox Christian fidelity, tradition, as well as mystical theology and practices. One of the many delightful things about religious diversity in Des Moines is the variety of Orthodox Christianity that we have here, and one purpose of the panel here is to showcase that. We have 4 illustrious panel members. Starting with Father Basil Hickman, who's the priest of St. George's Greek Orthodox Church. He grew up in Mason City, received a BA in Religious Studies from Hellenic College in Brookline, Massachusetts, and an MDiv from Holy Cross Greek Orthodox School of Theology in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was ordained in 1996 to the Holy Deaconate and the Holy Priesthood of the Greek Orthodox Church by Metropolitan Iavakos.
James. He means James.
Iavakos. In 1999, he returned to Iowa to become the parish priest of the Greek Orthodox Church of St. John the Baptist in Cedar Rapids, and then he was finally selected to fill the vacancy at St. George's in 2005. So he's been now moving on the 11th year, more or less at St. George's, and some wonderful photos I hope you've seen of Father Hickman and St. George's outside. Closest to me, we have Father Lev Smith, an Orthodox priest and rector of St. John the Wonder Worker Russian Orthodox Church. He holds a BA in political science, an MDiv, an MA in philosophy from Notre Dame, and a doctorate in theology from the Institute of St. Denis in Paris. He's a senior fellow of the Sophia Institute. He has taught courses in philosophy and theology at numerous colleges and universities and currently serves on the faculty of the Institute of St. Denis and Euclid University. He has lectured nationally and internationally on bioethics and issues of war and peace. His current research interests include liturgical renewal, continental philosophy of religion, temple theology, and psychoanalytic theory. He's the contributing editor of the forthcoming Healing, Reconciliation, and Forgiveness in Eastern Orthodox Perspectives, and he's the author of Philokalia, the Eastern Christian Spiritual Text, as well as numerous articles and reviews. Third, it's strange for us in this room to have women on our panels, but here we are. Thank you so much for being here. Presbytera Xenia. She's the wife of Father Zoran. Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm sorry we haven't had a chance to meet yet. He is the priest at St. Demetrius' Serbian Orthodox Church. As you can tell, I have much to learn at this panel myself. They wanted to do a panel on Orthodox Christianity with only Father Basil Hickman, and so that's fantastic. But there are all these Orthodoxies in Christianity, so let's do it up. Though I don't know much about them, so I'm here to learn. Presbytera is dedicated to interfaith dialogue and relations for decades. She serves, you correct me if I get any of this wrong, she serves as the Christian Orthodox faith leader at St. Demetrius. She's a member of an interconfessional monastic keeping and active service in Christian.
Yes, that's right. That's an institute built actually of the monastic and also listening and purify and meet every second year in a different church, a different denomination, and then we try to let you know all the practices of the church, we also have the services, we have discussions on many issues, and we try to present to each other our
Thank you. And finally, we have Father Moore. Am I pronouncing that right? Who is a priest of the Eritrean Orthodox community in Des Moines. I didn't get any more bios from you yet, so maybe when you have your first chance to talk, you can say a little bit more about yourself. Okay. But we'll move now into the first question, which is just about Orthodox Christianity in general. And this is the way I phrase it. Although it is arguably the oldest branch of Christianity, Orthodox Christianity remains relatively unknown by most Catholic and Protestant American Christians, not to mention the general American public. In your own words, tell us what Orthodox Christianity is, focusing especially on your own tradition of Orthodox Christianity. Maybe we'll come from far away to close, and then we'll start with the opposite direction. Orthodox Christianity is really something that's very exotic, and maybe to the Western American eye it might be exotic, but really it is just basic Christianity. It's traditional, ancient Christianity in its full form. And so, as Dr. Kim just mentioned, Orthodox Christianity goes all the way back to Christ and the Apostles. And there's an unbroken line from them to us and from us to them. And so the bishop who ordained us, was ordained by a bishop, who was ordained by a bishop, going all the way back to one of the apostles. And so that is something that I think is really important, that our faith is one that is not something that was established recently, but rather goes all the way back to Christ himself. And I think that is one of the most important things about what the Orthodox Church is. Again, it might look kind of exotic to the American eye, but when you consider the fact that Christianity was born in Jerusalem, and so Christianity would have had, in its early years,
in many areas, an Eastern flavor about it, at least in many places. And so our churches, for instance, the Greek Orthodox, and Serbian, Romanian, Russian, it's all the same church. Our churches would naturally have kind of that, maintain more of that Eastern kind of characteristic about them. And so the faith that we believe in is the faith of the apostles. We believe in one God. We believe that Jesus is the Son of God. We believe that that one God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity, and that the Son of God became man to basically just really basic Christianity. What most Christians believe is that's the foundation of our teaching. So much more to be said, and I guess we'll leave it to the others, so I don't take it all.
Can everyone hear fine without mics? Yeah, but some of you who don't project as well will want to speak in the mic. Please.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here, and I, in a way, will represent the female point because I am the queen's wife, and of course, I would like to let you know that the women do have really a significant role in Orthodox Church. Father Basil told us that most important, the core issues of our faith. I would like to focus on our services, on our daily practice, and like that, because this is also something that is very typical for all our Orthodox churches. Our services, our liturgies, lectures, readings are very, in a way, long. So they are usually longer than maybe in other Christian churches people are used to. And then it's very complex. We have that simplicity in the way of singing. We have a choir singing, we have chanting. Chanting is also quite complicated because it has special tones, or we call that voices, like in our Serbian churches have 8 voices. And then during the service you change these voices, you sing, for example, a psalm, and then you're singing it in one voice, and you change to another melody, third, fourth melody, like that. And then we combine the choir singing, the chanting, and so on. Then also in our Orthodox churches we are surrounded with iconography and fresco painting. So it's like an illustrated Bible around us. On the walls of our churches we have Bible stories painted in a beautiful manner. Some of these are really masterwork of art, especially if you are looking in the Bible monastery like that. But also in the contemporary way, we have the really artists who achieve really high level of artists of art. Then, so it's a complexity in that way. It's also complexity in the way how all our senses are actually involved in a service. Because with our eyes, we are looking at the icons and the fresco paintings, so we are completely surrounded with the divine, with the presentation of sense, of stories from the Bible, and then our ears are completely engaged in listening, singing with the choir, the chanting, the reading, and the reading also in our church is a little bit more like singing reading. So it's a certain melody we must read. For example, the epic story. We don't read it really like everyday reading. You have a certain tone in which you read that. The same is concerns those readings are spiritual like that. It's a lot of singing and diversity in that dynamic study. And then
One more minute.
Then also our sense of smell is today because we use a lot incense. So incense is very important symbolism in some example, that is very difficult in everything that we have in our Orthodox faith. Symbolism, so everything, even every color on the icon or on the fresco painting, every word has symbolism in it. So, the instance, for example, as the first gift that three kings gave the money with his newborn Jesus child. So we are using the images in our services, and we are smelling it, but in a way it also elevates us, like it is said, like materialize, like in St. So there is syndrome, and there is engagement of all our plants, including our vegetables. Because we have a lot crafting of ourselves, going just in a certain time of in a certain services, actually, like during the Lent season, we have also prostration. So all our physical body, our mind, all our senses, everything is focused on the divine. The divine is around us. And in such way we are really ready then in a certain time of the service to take communion and to really come to the point that is the most important point in our service.
Hello everybody, I'm Father Moore from Orthodox Church in Interfaith. We are new, just start from January 2014, that's 2 years. Even just married in America, I came from Africa, from Asia, from Ethiopia, that I'm only 3 years. And then from that, we start to establish the community with our community, and our group is in Maryland, which is located in Washington, D.C. We do have a bishop, and he came to visit us twice, and he made faith Oklahoma to music program in Orthodox praying for 9 months. It was Saturday. In order to get Monday, every Monday, we move to Adventist church close to the where making service every Sunday morning because I can just to explain a little bit about Orthodox Taekwondo, we call our church Orthodox Taekwondo. That the word Taekwondo, it came from Greek, and it means the flesh and the spirit combined together and become the sun, the dark sun, that Christ came and gave the flesh from Saint Mary and become a man. So that's why we say Taekwondo, that means the Orthodox and the higher or Orthodox stuff. Because Orthodox Taekwondo. Just the day that Father will explain it is more about the eternal life, not only about the living on the surface of the earth, but the main is focused on eternal life. All the people who have living here, we do have our eternal life, so we have to be interested on that life. It teaches us. So it is for the people for life and the respect for each other, everybody. Because we are talking about the eternal life, and it grows with children don't stay emotionally, mentally focused on the religion. It grows them in the church. And when the children grow up in the church, they are obedient for everything. even when they go to school, when they go to work or everywhere, they remember the rule and the blessing of the church. That this is not part of the church. And for all the people out of the church, this forgive love. The main thing is love. And as a second step, forgive and forgive for everything. People, when they live together, they may help each other. The main thing to solve the problem is forgive and forget. Some people may say sorry, that forgive, but they don't forget it. The faith was teaches us you have to forget it. Be faith in front of all the people on the street and in the church. If they say that, they have to forget it from their heart. They have to have clean heart. And then during the meal time, it's allowed one with one. That's it. We start in the Bible, and this taught us like this. We have to follow that Bible says. This is that. And every time when
Maybe 1 minute?
just introducing our church. We are here in Des Moines. Some people live in Des Moines, Terry from Alabama, and from all the cities of Iowa. They came every time to join us in Adventist church every Sunday morning. And we are new. We don't have our license, and we got one SI, the non-profit organization. We are planning to buy our building that we can use help. And all the holidays, our people, they need to be in the church. They are wanting to do this to celebrate without going because that's every holiday. So now, thank you so much. I'm glad to be in front of you.
Well, they've already talked a lot about what Orthodoxy is. Let me just add that a lot of our experience in America of Orthodoxy has been shaped by history. You know, in the early church, there were 5 main centers of Christianity: Rome, Jerusalem, Antioch, Constantinople, and Alexandria in Egypt. And roughly around the 11th century, Rome went its own way, and the Orthodox churches were all the churches in the East. And so we were the dominant church in the East and Rome in the West. And then in the 15th century, there was the Turkish conquest of Constantinople, and so at that point, Orthodoxy's center of gravity moved to Russia, and it stayed there until the Russian Revolution, so that now today roughly half of the world's Orthodox Christians are Russian, belong to the Russian Church. And so, and it's only in, it's mostly been because of the Communist Revolution that Orthodox Christians found their way to America. Although there were, for example, generals during the Civil War who were Eastern Orthodox. So we've been around quite a while, but we're only just now becoming better known. Although Father Maximus, the other priest in my parish, and I have been addressed by people as rabbi and asked where our synagogue is, somehow missing the cross.
How can you miss that thing? It's big.
You'll have a now. Second set of questions. Orthodox Christianity prides itself on its unbroken and unchanging faith. What obstacles, if any, have you encountered in the Orthodox communities in America, where individualism, choice, change are culturally privileged? How, if at all, does Orthodox Christianity offer a critique of the simplistic and simplistic of these American cultural values?
Well,
need to go upstairs to sample the other. Got some other going on up there. So I'm going to use a cheap box this time. So that was the Eastern Orthodox session. Oops, I think I went the wrong way.
Now, you can still get there this way. You get down one more?
No, I just, oh yeah, I want to go all the way out, sorry. And you want the rear or the front?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I hit the front button, so. Okay, now I am going to go into this room.
This is created in 1987 and is dedicated to medical training. The group will promote interfaith dialogue, develop pagan liturgies and theologies, and support pagan identified community professionals. With the support of
Thanks.
and with a church organization that was nationwide, I felt pretty good after that. And I decided at that point I can be able to be myself. And I have somebody that can back me. So I started a trust group in Cedar Rapids UU Church, People's Church. I started that in 2001, and I've been leader of that group ever since then. We've had about 53 members right now. About 1/4 of them are actually members of the Lutheran Universal Church. But what has kept so many members is because we have a variety of different things that we do. I have rituals, I have classes, I have coffee social events, I have pagan-centered bazaars, craft bazaars. So we have a lot of different activities for the pagan community to get involved in, which really helps them to be able to grow and find a niche. Because not everybody wants to follow a religion, not everybody wants to go through this spiritual practice of doing circles. So it's really open, just as paganism in its big umbrella covers so many different things, we offer a lot of different things to be able to help that whole community. So, how did my family take to me? Well, many of them didn't know and didn't find out until April 9th of last year when I was on TV and did the first within invitation in the Irish Treehouse. So, that was a very interesting conversation at lunchtime after I left the building. So many of them have asked me, they're like, so you follow hope, what do? You follow faith. All of those things that we tried and worked so hard to get over and get past came at me. So I went back to where I was and followed faith. But instead of using the term pagan, I said Wicca. Because Wicca is a term that not a lot of people use. And so it has some kind of gray area. They don't really know what you're saying sometimes. So I took a sound with that. So I said, Wiccan are earth-based, spiritual, They follow nature and seasons. Wiccans are open to equality, that the divine that is greater than ourselves is both male and female, and that we look at balance and a direct connection with whatever is greater than ourselves. And they like that, and they were okay with that. So I just left it as that. We're okay. So because of that, I also had some other people that came to me and said, when they introduced you as a Wiccan priestess. Why? If you follow the Cabot witchcraft tradition and you identify as a witch, why would you have them say a Wiccan priestess? Very good question. Once again, the term Wicca has its gray area. It helps give a little bit of a buffer. Like this. When your house is on fire and you have kids in the house and you need to get the kids out, you don't tell the kids the house is on fire because they'll panic and you won't be able to get them out. Instead, you tell the child that you have a gift for them outside and to hurry up and go get it. And they will hurry and get out of the house. And once they're out of the house and they're safe, you can then say, well, the gift is a gift of life because the house is on fire. So you didn't lie. You had a gift for them, but you were able to get them in a safe place before you could be able to tell them the truth. The same was between Wiccan and witchcraft. I tell people that I'm Wiccan because it's a gray area. They don't know much about it. So they're like, oh, okay, you know. They just go along with it, like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. But that's it. So I say I'm Wiccan. And I tell them, you know, I follow earth-based spirituality. Sometimes I'll say, you know, it's native European. That kind of also sets them up a little bit. It's native European. And I just let it go. They get to know me. They get to know that I'm like everybody else. And once we're in a safe place in our relationship, then I can say, well, I just want you to know that I'm actually a witch. Now, they're a little bit surprised, they're a little bit taken back, but now they haven't brought all of that negative stereotype into the relationship. Now they can say, and I've had someone say, but I like you. Well, that's good. But you're really nice. But that's good. I appreciate that. So it helps them to get past all those negative stereotypes, to be able to see me as a person and know that I'm really not that different from everybody else. So I've introduced you to a little bit about pagan culture, a little bit about what I've gone through. The one thing that I haven't talked to you about is how paganism is similar to what a lot of people go through right now. And this one's easy. A lot of people you hear nowadays say, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. You hear that a lot from people. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Now, I kind of look at it as, I believe that there's something greater than myself out there, but I don't really want to commit to some kind of dogma or some kind of path. I don't really want to be bogged down in something. And I look at that and I say, that is an eclectic witch. Although it's really telling. But that's what eclectic witches do. Is we look at what is greater than ourselves, we find different traditions, different paths, we find what speaks to us, and we pull that out, and we look at something else that doesn't speak to us, and we set it aside. So we find the different things from all the different paths and different traditions that speak to our personal connection with God, Goddess, Spirit, whatever is greater than us. So we have our own little way of putting together our spirituality. And that is what a lot of us do. Even if we claim a specific spiritual path or claim a specific religious path, we follow the religious path, but there are some little things side and it doesn't really speak to you. It's still what we all do, but it's how we label ourselves that makes us different. So people that say that I'm spiritual but not religious, they just don't want to put that label around them, you know? But in essence, it's the same thing that all of us do. So paganism, Christians, Buddhists, Taoists, Hindus, Buddhists, all the different religions that are out there, all find what speaks to them and hold on to that. It's their direct connection with the divine. So it's not about telling people how they're supposed to follow a path. It's about showing them all the paths that are available and letting them see. So in paganism, under that big general umbrella, we're really not that much different than all the other spiritual traditions that are out there, in that we have a path that we each follow, that we decide for ourselves, and we don't tell other people yours is wrong or yours is right. Because all the same paths, all the same ways of looking at things, just different paths of the same answer. So, I just wanted to let you know that again, I'm really happy that I was asked to be here, and I would love to talk to each one of you. I know we don't have a whole lot of time. I was letting you know when you told me that we were running a little bit late. I said, that's okay. We had this called holding quarter time. 30 minutes late. Every time I have a ritual at 6:30, the ritual itself doesn't start until 7, because we got to have the social group coming in a little bit time. So I wanted to go ahead and open it up to any questions that you guys might have, because like I said, I'm going to get started. Okay, hold on.
Tell them to ensure that space is a space for pagan people or respect for pagan people? And what are some ways that maybe you've seen that done well or not?
Well, it's such an umbrella term. It's really difficult to say. I like to tell people that we are not Christian, but we're not anti-Christian. So the crosses don't offend us, and they don't drive us away. So it's more of an understanding of just know that we're open to other religions as long as other religions are open to us. So as long as there's an open dialogue, we're not anti-anything. Some people are, but in faith-wise, we're not anti-anything. So we're really just open as long as other people are open. We respect other people's religions as long as they respect us. I have a 25-year-old who's my stepson who didn't grow up with me. He's and then I have 18, so like another year. I have an 18-year-old and a 12-year-old, all boys. So my 18-year-old, he was one I had when I was in kind of like a dream closet. So I say this, I do want to say that, because I was so afraid. I was so afraid that somebody was going to label me as a follower of the cult and take him away, that when he was younger, I would say, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about mom and you. Don't talk about it. And so when I found the Houston Universal Church, and I was able to be able to be moved, I had already instilled that fear in him. No, the parents, I'm just telling you. instead, in the Unitarian Universalist faith, they follow all different, they don't have a specific dogma, they have the 7 principles, but it follows a lot of different spiritual paths, and paganism being one of them. So it opened the doors for him to be able to see all of the different traditions that are out there. And now that he's in high school and he's an adult, and he could go off on his own, he's not really sure what he wants. He's agnostic, he's not really atheist, he believes that there's something greater than himself, but he's still finding his path. And I'm perfectly fine with that, whatever his path may be. My youngest, he grew up with working through this common, I run this group, and so he is definitely a witch. I've taught him magic, I've taught him healing, I've taught him Reiki, and he's gone with this path. Now, he's also going to the Universal Church, so he gets to learn about the other path. And I don't force him to do it. I've always said, if you don't want to come to circle, you don't have to come to circle. If you want to go to a church, or if you want to go to synagogue, or you want to go to convention, anywhere you want to go, I will take you there, because I'm not going to force you to do any one of those things. It's his, again, his connection with the divine is his, and he needs to find that out for himself. I am there. So, I met him in college. That's a really long story, so I won't get into that one. But I met him in college, and I had explained to him at that point that I was different faith, and that I was just not Christian. My husband is from California. I'd like to tell you one thing. The other thing that I'll give you a little bit more with him, his child that he had with his first wife, his name is Steve. So I give you a little bit. He was like, no problem. He had no faith whatsoever. We started watching VeggieTales with the kid, my youngest son, my oldest son. I was watching VeggieTales. You're familiar with VeggieTales? It's from a Baptist church, but I love it. It was great, because it's a good message. It really is a good message. Except for the one that they, put us down. But I didn't like that one. That's the one that they talk about, I don't follow at all. With the clovers, what is that?
St. Patrick?
St. Patrick, thank you. St. Patrick's Day. We don't follow. That's a little hurtful. We don't follow that one. So, but all the rest of them were great. And they had David and Goliath, David got a pickle. That was a great one. I love that. And my husband watched that, and he's like, what is this? And what is the story of David and Goliath? Who's David and Goliath? Oh my God. I'm starting you off right off the bottom level. We're fine. I don't have to understand anything. We have no basis of Christianity whatsoever. So he was really good at that.
There we go.
Yes.
As Christians, we forget that some of our most beloved traditions came from the Bible. Christmas tree. You guys were having more fun than we were having, so we just absconded with it, put some Christian symbols on it, and then we made you guys pregnant. And Easter egg is a pagan symbol, and we love Easter egg. We have Easter egg hunts at church.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting that if you guys are having too much fun with it, then we're going to abscond it and change the meaning a little bit, so we can have it at our church, and then we call you the bad guy.
Yeah. I have something funny to say. So, we're the covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. We're a covenant and not a coven. The difference being, in a coven, you have everybody follows the same path. In a covenant, you have all different paths. So I bring I like have shamans, I have druids, I have Wiccans, I have witches. I have earth-based that don't like ritual or anything like that. So I have a hereditary witch. Her grandmother was a witch, her mother was a witch. So I have a hereditary witch that came in. And it was just about the time of Easter. And we had just finished celebrating Ostara with her. Ostara is March 21st, just one minute, we just finished celebrating Ostara, and Easter was coming, and we were all talking about helping out the church with hiding the Easter eggs for the kids. She did not have a connection. Because in the witch's tradition, in the witch faith, when you have a couple that wants to have children, wants to conceive, you take an egg and you put it in the ground, and the dew, the morning dew on Ostara, blesses the egg, and then the male gives that to the female as a blessing to have more kids. It's a fertility rite. She was just horrified that we were having kids go outside and find eggs and give them to each other. That was horrifying to her that we were doing something like we're messing with fertility rates with kids. And so we had to explain to her the Christian tradition so that she wasn't horrified by it anymore. Ours are full of comfort. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Different there.
So, you talked a little bit about are there some types of locations where that's understood to be more than others? We in the Christian tradition tend to take sort of neutral sites and we'll make it sacred. Could you talk a little bit about how you discover or acquire sacred sites?
Absolutely. And like I said, it's different in different paths. But ley lines, where energy, you've heard of ley lines, where the energy is most powerful, those are important to us. But sacred places it's not the building, it's the people. So it's more along the lines of when we create a circle, we create sacred space. And we all stand in a circle, and we walk around that circle 3 times, and we proclaim it as sacred space. It's our way of affirming that this is a space that is outside of everything else. This is where we are, and no one is to leave that space. We actually cut the words and leave it out of it, but so we create a sacred space, and then no one leaves that space until we're done, and then we open it, and so the circle's open, yet unbroken, and then we right, and then we leave it. So we create sacred space wherever we are.
Now I am going to go into this other room, which is the first room that I came in the first session.
Well, thank you so much for so at 3:45, this is a break time in our program here. The Springfellow lecture again is downstairs in the place it began. If you have any questions. Oh, you did.
Oh, yeah, so, well, I didn't know him, but I know he's a prominent thinker in Mormonism, kind of a Mormon philosopher. Yeah, that's a reputation. Well,
Don, I got in here a little late.
Oh, do you want to still get a photo, or?
Well, I took a picture of him with you, while you were standing here, and then he was next to me. So I didn't have a picture, but I wanted to capture a little bit on video. That's okay.
Well, and any professor in any field as you learn, sometimes it's painful.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what's going
But I would like to, I take
Oh.
And I've never seen one on Mormonism.
Well, if the Ray Society would invite me, I'll come.
Why don't you go?
They've never invited me. What?
Why don't you go invite yourself and tell me what to do?
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that's
Crash their party.
not exactly that way, but it's kind of like, how do you find some of these people and what? And you're here, because I would love to learn a lot more about Mormonism.
Well, I'm open. I'm a little hesitant to invite myself, but I'm sure open to. I would love to give variations of this talk. Sure.
But I would like to know more about the religion
Well,
itself. Just like I just went on
I'm a professor and not. I'm a Mormon, but I'm not a representative. But I could talk about the history and a little bit about the doctrine. From a professor's point of view.
Okay, I know that you don't believe Jesus, so I'm not following that.
Yeah.
Well, Christian religion then.
Mainstream Christian.
Well, I mean, the difference, you started a group after the New Testament. So that
Yeah.
means, how is this group, you guys, different? And what other things are there that added, the other dimensions of Mormonism?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not
we
asking the right person?
no, I can answer it a little bit.
No, but I mean, that's what I'd like to see in class, how.
Yeah. And you touched on it with the baptism for the dead temple ceremony. The one issue that really concerned the Mormons was what happens to all these people all around the world that die without hearing about Jesus. Do they just go to hell? Well, that's not acceptable. So we'll baptize them, we'll do this, we'll do that, whatever it takes to get them into heaven. And that's the attitude, is filling that gap that other Christian religions don't usually address.
Yeah, and some of the other doctrines.
Yeah. So if you're part of Ray Society, feel free to drop my name.
I got in here a little late because I was sampling all of the session stuff. Can you tell me how big your Mormon community here is in Iowa and what cities?
And what cities?
What cities are there in?
They're everywhere. They're all in almost every city in Iowa, at least some of the larger ones. And I would say right in the Des Moines area, 10,000, 15,000, something.
Oh, that's a sizable population. That's about the.
It's a healthy
Yeah,
population, and there's church houses all over the place.
Yeah, that's probably about the size of the Muslim community here.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm Muslim. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
Muslim.
great. Yeah, great.
But I just want to get a sense of the size of the community here in Iowa. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah, it's a healthy size.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, behind you. Well, I got a little bit from him. I'm going to go back to the cheap box and go back down to the auditorium and I'll finish up. That session, the keynote speech. So I'm going to go back downstairs for that. So the Wiccan priestess is still speaking, so she's running a little over time, but she'll probably be finishing up soon. But I didn't expect him to cut off when he did, but that's okay. So at least I got a little bit of sense of that from a Mormon's perspective. So I can hear talking about different forms, the witch traditions, you know, other Wiccan things that I'm just getting a little bit of that in my right ear. And now I'm going back downstairs. This elevator can open on either side. Now I am passing by the pictures that were set up. I'm going to take a quick run past all these tables. Hello. I'm just shooting video, so of what I couldn't stream because the dang Wi-Fi in here is, the building is messing with Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi on campus is bad anyway. Even the students complain about it. So what do you represent? Oh, cool. And the person who has this table is back here. This is one of the Christian ones. It's the strengthening families and citizens and communities in a pluralistic society. And then the Catholic Peace Ministries Board is up there. Hello, I'm still recording video. I couldn't stream because of the dang buildings and the Wi-Fi is crap, so I'm just recording. I'll upload later.
No worries. This is under Project Youth Ministry, our upcoming event that will be happening instead of Shifting Minty Sword, which we have every year. So that's going to be happening on March 19th.
That might be in
It will be at
Our Lady of Immaculate Heart.
Yeah.
That's the church in Ankeny. I have issues with that. It's called location.
Oh.
No bus access.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good. No, I'm just recording. I couldn't stream here because of the building and the Wi-Fi is crap.
You do freelance. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I got into that through Occupy.
Oh, did you? I wondered. I knew you were strong.
Yep. I had a tent in the park. And I would do it again in a nanosecond. Or maybe as how much time it takes to set up a tent. That was Susie Palma. She is the Catholic, and I was a Catholic before I became a Muslim. Now people are here getting nibbled. And here is the book. This is One Nation Under God. That's the book title. And the books are available for purchase here. So I'm recording this and then I'll upload it later because I couldn't live stream because of the dang Wi-Fi in this building. It's crap.
Telling this gal that I can't get my gadgets to work down here in the basement.
Yeah, and so what they're doing who are using the squares, they're just doing a batch, and then they will just upload it all in one batch instead of trying to process each one. Because, I mean, Wi-Fi on this campus is crap. So is this book available online for those who are not here in Des Moines?
I do think that this book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
And I'm from the University Bookstore. If you want to write a check, bookstore or University Bookstore.
Okay.
And if anyone contacts us, I would be happy to.
Okay,
get a
so
copy for 'em
the
also.
Drake University Bookstore?
Correct.
Okay, that works.
Will she be here afterwards for book signing?
So there will be a book signing after the keynote speech. Sure. Yep.
there's Jesus. I think I'm going to have some nibbles. Ooh, they substituted the fruit for the cheese.
Hey, Karen, I'll bring them some cheese and bread.
Well, there's still some fruit here, but and they changed up, added some new cookies.
It would have been on my foot, because I did it that way. It was like fun trying to feel like somebody else was like, they had a little bit of everything, and then a little bit of can't go on, I don't want to lose.
Yep, that's how you do it. Just give a little sample. All good. I'm going to go back down and I'll see.
Maybe we can do this one off the clock. We're gonna.
Thank you.
Okay. Where's your church right now?
Session just finished up.
You stay in touch with me. You'll get a chance to Thanks so much.
Every Sunday morning, just the room is full. That's the song of
Wow. That is good.
Here is Father Alexei exiting the trapeza with a friend of mine, Father Joel, and this is where the monks have their meals, and the nuns.
They have to yell at me or what?
There's still a little bit of time while we're setting up. I'm going to go ahead and end this recording, and then I will come back on for a fresh recording for the keynote speech.